Hey y'all, here's a video about what we need to get done this week, and I apologize that it's so incredibly late. This will basically cover the remainder of the work that we're going to do in the class. So I guess you could say this is next week's video early or this week's video late. I don't know. Either way, um, let's talk about what's due this week and next. So we've got, I apologize for this, the school, the administration, Central Piedmont wants to make sure that everybody's using the textbook. So we have a chapter in the textbook, and I went and looked in Brightspace to see who has accessed the textbook and who has not, and for how long. You would be amazed at the things that I can see in Brightspace. It's a little alarming. You can just consider Brightspace Big Brother, okay? So there are quite a few of you who have never accessed the textbook. So please make sure that you use the textbook for this quiz that's associated with Chapter 22. You have 2 tries at the quiz, and all of the questions come directly from the textbook. You can block copy the answers and put them into the blanks. It does not matter to me one little bit if you rephrase or if you block copy. There are also a series of questions that ask you what page you took the answer from. Where did you find it? So even if you just answer the question off of your own knowledge, you still need to go in there and open up the textbook and find where it's discussed so that you can answer those questions about where did you get the answer. Sorry about that. This was not my decision, but we do have to make sure that everybody is actually using the textbook. Okay, so if you are using the hard copy of the textbook, it's possible that your page numbers may not be the same. I'm not sure. Also, the quiz won't get scored until I go through and double check all your answers, because anytime that I have a quiz that does an auto check for me and does the grading, it always okay, so there wasn't a capitalized P for page 25 or whatever. It marks the whole thing wrong, and obviously that's not right. So I have just set it so that you won't see the grade until I go through and actually look at all the answers and make sure that what the auto grade feature is doing is correct. So as you can see, it's not due until the 10th, which is basically the end of the semester. We are right there at the end of class. Our term ends on the 12th, and I have to have grades in within, I think it's 72 hours from the last class. So we got to go bam, bam, and get done. So we can't extend any of the work past the date that the class is over. Okay, so here's the instructions for your argumentative essay. You can see you need to write an essay that incorporates research and most importantly speaks to a topic, good grief, speaks to a topic that you find interesting and that can be argued. If you are going to make your thesis statement, Facebook is dangerous because Mark Zuckerman created it. That's not really, I guess technically that could be arguable, because you would need to explain why Mark Zuckerberg is dangerous, but you got to make sure that you're not using basically a statement of fact as your thesis statement. So make sure that your topic is something that can actually be debated and that matters to you. Please don't choose something that you don't care about, because that'll come across in your writing. Let's see, make sure that you are using correct MLA format. and that you have an introduction, multiple body paragraphs. You need to discuss a counter argument, opposing views, what someone would say to your argument if you were to sit down with them and explain it to them and they had an opposing view. And then you need to conclude. 5 full pages minimum. No cover sheet. Your works cited page does not count. Please make sure you are using third-person point of view in a formal tone. Do not directly address the audience. That includes asking the audience questions. Don't ask rhetorical questions of your audience. That might be fine in an informal essay or in some other type of writing other than formal academic writing. This is formal academic writing, and you are making an argument. So there's no rhetorical questions, no speaking directly to the audience, no first person, no second person. Make sure that your transitions are good and strong, and make sure you've got correct grammar going on. You'll need to use 4 credible scholarly sources, and you want to use the CPCC online database for at least 2 of them. I feel like it's short-sighted not to let you use, other research tools that are out there like Google. So obviously you can use Google. And this says you cannot use Wikipedia. That should actually say you cannot cite Wikipedia. There's absolutely nothing wrong with using Wikipedia. There's nothing wrong with using Wikipedia to find a source. Good grief, my fingers are not working. So maybe you're interested in what it is that prevents young folks from voting. So you might put something in here about young people and voting, or the youth vote. What have you, whatever term you want to use for your research. And then up pops your page with all kinds of information and lots of resources. If you go down here to the references page, you will find quite a lot of information. All of this stuff is, perfectly fine for you to make use of. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you using Wikipedia to find information that you can then go to, reference, and cite in your argument essay. So use Wikipedia if you like. You can also use it to come up with good search terms, as you can see here. You do not ever want to cite Wikipedia itself, but you can use it to find other sources. And the trick with the reference page, the works cited page, that works for other resources as well. When you find a journal article or something in the CPCC database, go and look at the works cited page at the very end. If it's something that you decide you want to use and it really supports your argument, look and see what they have cited and see if there's anything in there that you can make use of yourself in your own essay. So there's that. You must have a MLA style works cited list. You got to have some in-text citations. Do not plagiarize. Don't use AI. And I will also remind you guys, just in case you have forgotten, where are you? Maybe you're down here. College and course resources. We've got some information about databases, how to set up your paper in MLA format, a sample works cited page. This right here is how your page should look. This is called a hanging indent, and you must have them for each entry. Here's a link to help you with formal academic writing, just in case you missed that part of the text. It kind of outlines the different aspects of it. Let's see, here's something about academic voice. So, make sure that you review these things if you're not 100% sure of, what you should be doing in each one of these situations. So, let's see. Let's go back to our content and continue through our week. So you need to make sure that you have reviewed the argument essay instructions, the argumentation webpage. There's a list of topic ideas. They're all great. You don't have to choose from them. You absolutely need to choose something, as I said, something that you care about, and something that you can argue. There are some links about claims, parts of an argument, etc. We've got a tutorial relating to in-text citations, and then we've got a sample argument paper down here. Now you can see, if you check this out and read it yourself, you'll see that we've got a thesis statement right here that is actually arguable, and that is exactly what you want. It's actually multi-part. It kind of starts up here, but then it gets into more specificity down here at the bottom of the paragraph. Puerto Rico ought to be independent and refuse Commonwealth to the United States of America. Puerto Ricans deserve to be free so they can pick their own leader, control their economy, and speak their native language. This is a great example of the template that I told you guys about. We should do X because Y. It's kind of like a, if you've had algebra or pre-algebra, you know that one of the things that they do in math classes is they put letters into, the math problems and say, figure out what the letters mean. In the example of we should do X because Y, we should make sure that Puerto Rico is independent so that they can pick their own leader, et cetera, et cetera. So this right here, starting here, is a great example of turning that we should do X because Y language into a real thesis statement. And then they move through their arguments as one would expect. And then we've got some citations. This right here is exactly how that citation should look. Parentheses, the name of the author, last name, no comma, no page, no P, no paragraph, and then the page number. Close parentheses, period. That right there is how it needs to look. You don't put things in italics. You don't center things other than the title. You don't center the whole paper. These are all things that I've seen students do either on purpose or by mistake. And you don't want to do any of those things. You don't want your citation to look different from this. Now, let's say that you have a source that you've used that's doesn't have an author's name associated with it. If that's the case, then you want to use the name of the article, truncated, shortened, like they've done here. Puerto Rico exports. They've got the title in quotations, in quotation marks within the parentheses, and then they have the period. So there's no page number there because that probably is an online article that isn't paginated. So there are no page numbers to provide, and probably there's no author. So, make sure that you know how to do this and that you are aware of all the intricacies. You don't have to know how to do it off the top of your head, but you do need to know where to go to make sure you're doing it correctly. You can see up here, many on the island, etc. As stated by Eric Negron, tax advisor to the Independence Party, comma, quotation, blah, 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 blah. And then we have the page number. Now, obviously, there's no author's name there because we've got the author's name up here. And I would say that this is not the best lead-in to the quote in the world. It's functional, but it could do a whole lot more. Use a verb there that is actually going to do some heavy lifting for you. You could it would be a much stronger use of the resource if the author of this paper had written Open a Broader Trading Market, and as argued by Eric Negron, or as claimed by Eric Negron, or as whatever stance it is that the resource creator is taking, you would want to kind of incorporate that into your introduction of the resource. And then we have our concluding paragraph and our works cited page. Like I said, this right here, exactly how it needs to look, right here. If you get confused, you can look at this sample argument essay. You can look at any of the resources associated in the textbook. You can make use of any of the resources listed in the college and course resources area. Next week, pretty much all you're going to be doing is finalizing your argumentative essay. We've got some videos here relating to incorporating information from sources into your paper. Make sure that you do that, because you'll need to have those resources and you'll need to have opposing viewpoints. And these two videos will help you with that. Don't forget, you got to take that argumentative quiz that's associated with each one of the papers. You'll need to take it and get 100 on it before the argumentative essay is open for you to submit. Please don't ask for an extension here, because we don't really have the time to spare. We are at the end of the semester, so congratulations on hanging in there this long. Please email me and let me know if you've run into any issues, if you have any questions, any problems, and I will be happy to help out however I can. Just know that we're at the end of the semester and I can't give any more, extensions for anything just because we're out of time. Okay, so you just give me a yell if you need some help, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your semester.